After the Bucks played the other night, Giannis, they asked his thoughts about the Luka Doncic trade and everything like that. Giannis had quite a lot to say regarding this. A lot of it is unserious, but this also could potentially mean that Giannis could be in a different uniform in the near future. So I'll read you the first thing first. He said, thought it was fake news. It's insane. Obviously, I've played against Luka a lot of times and AD and all the people that were included in this trade. This is the world we're living in. It's a business. You have to understand nobody's safe. Nobody's safe. If a 5-time All-NBA first team, a 25-year-old guy that just made it to the finals 7 months ago, a guy that led the league in scoring, a guy that finished second or third in MVP voting, a guy that scored 70-something points one time, a guy that had a 60-point triple-double, a guy that knows how to play the game of basketball.
This is Giannis?
This is Giannis.
Wow.
I can keep going and going. An all-star, not just an all-star starter, a guy that averaged 34, 9, and 10. But I'm not here to talk about Luka and how good he is. I think everybody in the world knows he's one of the best players in the league. That's the first thing. So, W Glaze. Like, W Glaze.
No, I feel like he's on Stephen A. Smith's Glaze level. Like,
It's like
bro
Gio
might have
Russ.
a career.
It's like Gio Russ Glaze.
Honestly. No, honestly, Giannis is talented, first of all. I think he can have a commentating career when he retires. But keep going, though. That's besides the point.
Okay. I think there's one other thing I have to say after this next slide. At the end of the day, I've said this in the past, you get evaluated every single day. You don't take nothing for granted. Being an all-star, you don't take it for granted. Being able to go out there and put the jersey on and represent your team, you don't take that for granted. Being out there and representing your family, you don't take that for granted. Every second that you play in an NBA game, I love it. I try to play with joy. And at the same time, I understand the business of basketball. And sometimes teams need to make the best moves that are good for their organization and for their position and for their own pursuit of greatness and championships. But at the same time, it goes both ways. You cannot have a double standard here. When the teams make the best moves for them and they believe they can get another player to win now, when a player believes he can go to a different team and he believes he can have a chance to win a championship, we cannot crucify the person and say that he's not loyal and that he didn't do the right thing and he let everybody down. Ooh. Because history has shown you, you have to do what's best for you and your family. You have to do what's most important to win. Now, to me, this sounds like Giannis is kind of setting the table for himself at some point soon in the future. What do you guys think?
That absolutely sounds like Giannis is saying, get ready because I'm getting out of here in a couple years. That's what it sounds like.
Someone quote tweeted and said Giannis listed more Luka accomplishments than the Mavs social media team.
Yeah.
Wow. Listen.
Impressive, honestly.
Yeah.
Listen, there's something about, we know all NBA players are humble, but there's something different about the humbleness of guys that come from abroad. Growing up in the streets, playing basketball. Remember, they didn't go to Big Five schools like a lot of guys did in the NBA, or
they didn't go to college
or accredited. Yeah,
most of them at least.
Yeah, so they're growing up in the streets. They have a dream similar to a lot of other guys that come in nationally. So Giannis, again, is always well spoken. Love to hear him talk, and he has more knowledge on Luka's accomplishments on the top of his dome than a lot of people do.
Yeah.
I could probably list off probably 3 or 4 of those things, but not all of them.
Yeah.
But listen, I know all the international guys are probably close to one another. If they are, they aren't, but they know of each other pretty well. Like Luka, Jokic, Giannis, example, the best 3 players in our league are international guys.
You can even make the argument that, like, I think 4 out of the top 5 best players in the world are all abroad. Like 3 you mentioned. Wemby's French, SGA's Canadian. Yeah. Jason Tatum is probably the best American right now.
Yeah.
And he's like top 5, top 6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's very a broad game. And the Europeans specifically have a very tight-knit bond. Like you'll even see like, you know, a lot of NBA casuals think only the star players hang out with each other and stuff like that. But like you'll see after let's say a Nuggets and I'm just trying to think of another team with a European on it. I'm struggling here right now. Help me out.
Bucks,
Topic.
Bucks, 76ers with Embiid.
Embiid's not European.
But international.
I'm talking about European though.
Oh.
I'm trying to think of an example of like a bench player that's not.
Bench player. Bogdan with the Hawks.
Well, yeah, they're obviously country mates, but you'll see like if a team has like last year when they played the Kings, Sasha Vezenkov, Jokic would have a nice conversation with him after the game. Like the Europeans are a very tight knit group, and we see it in the All-Star game all the time. They all just kind of hang around each other. The Canadians do the same thing. The Africans do the same. The Australians do the same. It's all the same thing.
Familiar faces, you know.
Exactly. Giannis said one other thing. This was the joke part. But you remember, every joke has a little bit of truth to it. Shout out Kev. He said, now that a European will be the face of the Lakers, this is something new for Europe. I love it. Know what I want? I want Luka to the Lakers. I want Jokic to the Knicks. I want all the Europeans to go to all the big markets to see this something incredible. This is my dream.
Oh, yes.
Now,
Jokic to the
granted,
Knicks.
as soon as he said Jokic to the Knicks, I threw up in my mouth. But look, it will never happen. It'll never happen because I said this once. Jokic will never leave Denver, and there's only one team that Jokic should go to. There's only one acceptable team that if he ever requests out of Denver, there's only one team he should go to.
Where?
Come on, you know what it is.
Not the Brooklyn Nets.
Of course, it's the Brooklyn Nets.
No.
That's what he's saying.
The aura at the Clays, but yeah, Giannis sounds like he probably wants out at some point. No,
I would think so.
Sounds like it.
I would think so.
So he said Jokic to the Knicks, and then he said Giannis at the what?
no, he just said he said Luka to the Lakers,
I know,
Jokic to the
but
Knicks.
he
Those are
didn't-
just
he-
the two.
that-
big-
That's
didn't-
he's implying that he's one of those European big time players.
Oh, duh.
that-
He didn't say
You know what I'm
himself, of
saying?
course.
I know, but
He's not going
So
to
he's
because
not
he'll get
going to.
fined out his ass. From
Yeah,
a
exactly.
Where's a big market that you could see Giannis playing in
Golden State.
Golden State.
besides Golden State?
Besides Golden State, well, let's identify for the viewers right now.
What are the big markets?
what's a big market? So you have the Knicks and Nets, right?
Yeah.
You have the Lakers and Clippers.
Okay.
You have the Warriors. You have the Bulls,
Yep.
and you have you could
Miami.
I guess, and you have Dallas. I guess Houston maybe,
Yeah.
but if we're talking Mecca, it's New York, it's Los Angeles, Golden State, Chicago. I think those are the
Yeah.
only four.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Golden State.
Bucks would never trade him interdivision, so he's not going to Chicago. The Nets really want Giannis. The Nets really want Giannis. I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest with you, to be honest with you, but the Nets would pour out all the picks in the world for him. I know they would, and it would not surprise me if Giannis is a Net next year.
Yeah. I mean, they got plenty.
In
of
the
picks,
off season, that happens, you think?
Don't know.
You think they'll give them more picks than the Knicks gave them?
No, that won't happen because the Knicks traded four of their own, a pick from Milwaukee, which we won't give back to them unless we trade. If the trade happens before draft night, we'll give them back their pick.
Right.
And then they gave us the swap. The swap essentially counts as a pick, which is why it's 6. The Wolves traded 4 in a swap for Rudy. So that's how it breaks down. The Nets would trade probably 4 picks for Giannis. Would not surprise me. I don't see the Clippers doing it. I see the Warriors doing it. I don't see the Lakers doing it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
100%.
Yeah.
I actually, as much as I hate to say it, I think Giannis will be a Net, whether I like it
Whoa.
or not.
Oh, that's a big
Okay.
take.
I think that's where you know what?
It's possible.
I'm going to make the prediction. I
Do
think
it.
Giannis is a Brooklyn Net.
When?
Let me look at his contract right now.
Couple years.
I need to see when it expires.
Yeah.
Because salaries are heavily predicated on contract length and what you give up. So he oh my goodness. So this year he's making 57 mil. Next year he makes 62. And the year afterwards 66.
Wow.
And then he's a UFA. So yikes. I really don't know.
Yeah.
I think if anything, by the end of the by the start of the 27 season, if Giannis doesn't request out by then, because if a situation like that where Giannis gets traded, you're looking at a first round exit again this year where they crash out completely, and the Bucks. I mean, the Bucks could be making a trade in the next few days. I know him, Middleton, and Portis are all out tonight, so we'll see kind of what happens. But I do think if Giannis is going to go anywhere, it's most likely going to be the Nets or the Warriors.
Yeah.
Those
I
are the
think-
only 2 places I see him going.
I agree.
Those are the 2. I can't think of anybody else.
Now that Luka Doncic has been traded, does this now give other general managers chances to rip the Band-Aid off and get rid of their star, i.e. Daryl Morey trading Embiid without him knowing? That's an example. Do you think this can happen? And if so, who do you think? Who do you want? What are the vibes saying?
I think the personalities, the GMs, I think they're going to do what they would normally do. I don't think that really affects. I don't think what happened with Nico Harris really affects Harrison. I don't think that really affects how they're going to handle their business. You know,
Yep.
So if that's in their capacity to do something like that, then they're going to do it. If it's not, then they're not. I don't think it really changes anything.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
fair.
I don't think teams feel more inclined to trade their stars unless they want to. I think that Luka thing is just so out of left field. You can't get any more out of the ballpark than that. That's something we'll never see again, probably, most likely in our lifetime, unless another GM decides to do something like that. But I don't think Embiid moves anytime soon, barring anything massive. And then we know the big guys like Giannis, KD, Butler could get moved.
Yeah.
It just depends. It's all a time game. It's there's time that comes to lead up to these trades for those guys. I think specifically,
Right.
Luka is just really within 2-3 hours, which is insane.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I don't think no GM is inclined to move guys
Yeah.
That's fair.
because of the Luka trade.